All right, we're back. This is our last. Is this our last episode of the year, or is this going to be in the beginning of the year? When is this coming?
This is going to be coming out January 1st instead of the 3rd because
this is our first episode of the year, and we're completing our trilogy of our top 25 cigars of the year. First episode, we went from 25 to 20, then we went from 19 to 11, and today we are doing our top 10. This is the one true top 25 cigar list in the industry at this moment that really matters or that means anything.
I mean,
we at this point when we're filming it, we still don't know what number one is from CA, but man, when I come back from the holidays, that episode I'm going to be swinging. I'm going
to throw it out there. Partagas Salomon Cuban.
I'm going to throw it out there.
It's going to be something silly like that.
My father.
I can see that. Or that.
What My Father, though?
But that's the last one of
I guess they did come out with
that's
a
the last
bunch.
one of which Monte Cristo from 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No offense, I love Monte Cristo.
I thought it was the torpedo, and I was like, that's awesome. They don't even need to change the second band. It's a different size.
So you're going Partagas, you're going My Father.
I think it's gonna be My Father.
I say Cuban all around.
Yeah.
But they already had 2 Cubans in the top 10.
That doesn't matter. It's CA.
It does. But see, that's the thing. It does, but it also doesn't, because they have a formula that they stick to. But also, if they didn't, that would also make sense because they're just fucking terrible.
Here's the other thing.
I could see.
They're just so bad.
It's like being from a wine superstore. I mean, CA is Wine Spectator, and you have to pay money to get into the top whatever.
Yeah.
This would be like if the world was like, oh, we need to know what the top 10 best movies of the year are. Let's ask my dad. Because my dad is so well informed and is so in touch with everything. Let's ask my dad. He's just gonna keep saying Gladiator 2.
Yeah, it's not gonna change.
You should have saved that. You should have saved that for the actual rant episode. But I like it. I like that.
Because imagine asking my dad, like, what'd you think of Wicked? He's like, Wicked? Like, and that's what they think of, like, Dunbar and Horror Foundation.
Would they be ballsy enough to do Opus X again?
No, they had it for one thing, Don Carlos already.
Oh yes. Okay.
Well, listen, here's the thing. Everything's on the table for them, and nothing is.
Yeah.
Because if any of these things would make sense, but also if they didn't do on it, that also makes sense. Because it's just, don't get me fired up yet, Chris. The whole episode.
I have another question. I'll wait till the
Today I want to stay in positivity, in positive mode, by talking about a real top 10 that features a ton of new cigars. Very few things on our list are older than 2 years old, much less 4 or 5 years. And to help us tell this tale of our top 10 cigars of 2024, we have, returning from yesterday's episode, Bobby Galvo, one of our lead merchandisers, and our other lead merchandiser, Andy. I don't know why I just blanked on your last name for a second.
Are you serious?
Well,
This guy.
I just blanked on. You know why? Because it's never on any of your thing. Like, it's not on your Slack. Like, Bobby Galvo is on my Slack.
But he's not Seal.
I know. Why am I blanking on your last name?
Can I
Give me the first letter. Give me the first
It's just
letter.
another generic Italian name.
Yeah, come on.
Give me the first letter.
That's going to be a dead giveaway.
I
That's
need it.
D.
D'Angelo.
There you go.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh
All
my
right,
gosh.
All right. That's why it wasn't specific enough. It was such a generic name.
Here's the other thing.
It's
You
4
called Bobby and
paisanos
I-
sitting around the table here. Come on.
You called Bobby and I both lead merchandisers. We're the only merchandisers.
Yeah.
But I want to give you both the respect that you guys deserve.
Appreciate
Well,
that.
somebody's doing it.
I
Can't remember my last name, but shit.
Would you rather me?
In all fairness, he knows nobody's
a worse
name.
title and remember your last name?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the assist.
I would assume he would want that.
Because I was about to go negative again, and we're not doing negative.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
no.
yeah.
That's. I'll have you guys on for the next episode though. That's all negative.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I'm
boy.
in.
That's all negative.
I'm in.
Oh, boy.
And Jim gave me permission today to just go all out in that
Yeah,
one.
I'm kind of scared for
Yeah.
YouTube and Spotify.
They're
Get ready,
so
boys.
bad. They're so bad. All right, so for those of you who maybe didn't listen to our first 2 episodes, I'm going to explain to you how we, created this list this year. Like I said, usually it's me and Chris, but this year we opened it up to a panel of all of these serious cigar smokers in our company. They each created a top 10 list. I then took that, I forged it into a 25 list of the 25 cigars that kind of appeared the most, and then everyone kind of rated that 25 list according to their own preference. And then I did the math on that, and we worked out by votes what our top 25 was. So this is an aggregate of everyone's kind of choices and and opinions and preferences. But I also, like I said, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of old stuff on here. No one was putting down just like something from 7 or 8 years ago, like very rarely. And just about everything in our top 10 is past 3. I think maybe the one I'm smoking is a little bit older, but not much.
Yeah, this is
The top 4 are the past year. Top 4 are within the past year.
I love that. There's been, since we've been doing these episodes, you and I specifically, I would like, I feel like how we would do it, like, you know, I'm going to add into what cigars I've smoked throughout the year. Every year we do the list, I've been smoking more and more cigars off of it. Like, you know, just testing it and all that. And I will say this year, our top 10, I've smoked at least, each of them at least twice, right? So I think that, and so that opens the floor. Have you guys been able to really enjoy the, you know, cigars off our list more than once this year?
Yeah.
And what have you, like, specifically for the top 10, what have you guys thought about, like, some of your favorites without jumping around?
Well,
I
I'm
guess
not
too
going to jump
much.
around because I know we're going to get into the top 10, but I'd say, you know, Wise Man's definitely up there for me. The blood medicine that I got going right now is definitely a heavy hitter.
Yeah, I smoked both of those like recently.
Yeah.
And they were both good.
I do have to say, Andy had the most like eclectic list of ones that were like interesting. Where I looked at it, I'm like, that's a really interesting. Like, it wasn't the normal like everyone's talking about this one, everyone's talking about this one.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, that's actually like I do love that cigar. It doesn't get talked about enough. Like you had probably the most unique. Like I think one of the Tatuajes that ended up getting finalized was also on your list.
I also kind of have like a narrow taste profile of stuff that I personally like. That doesn't mean that I can't smoke a cigar and be like, yeah, this is a great cigar. But ones that I'm going to buy a box, it's kind of narrow.
Well, as we know, you only smoke strong cigars. As we know.
Let's not relive that moment.
Positivity. Everyone's having a real great day.
We'll save that for the next episode.
Yes.
But Chris, I want to say that I think your palette has very much expanded, and you know, usually when we were kind of doing the list, you would have like 2 or 3 that you really wanted to push for to make sure they were on. Now, like, you were fully engaged in each one of these choices.
Yeah.
You had smoked each one of them either on the show or on your own. So
Well, since joining you guys, my smoking intake has doubled, which is pretty awesome. But well, for me, not for my wife. But no, I mean, also just, and I'm not just saying it because all you guys are on here. I was going to piggyback off of, I guess, like, you know, Nick saying you have an eclectic list. There's times where I'll go to you and be like, you know, have you tried this before? And you're very like, yeah, dude, like I really, really liked it. It doesn't get a lot of love. Like Diesel, I feel like you really put me on like the Diesel vintage series.
It was a really good cigar.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad.
Surprised me, but
yeah, but I'm glad like you know people are like, you know, our team we're putting, you know, you guys are putting, because I still consider I'm still newish. I'm here 5 years, but like my palate, like being like, if you like this, you guys do good at like comparison, but not, you know, it's not like dead on comparison. You're like, if you like this profile, then try this.
like I said, there's like 6. There's like six lanes that you can kind of be in. That like, hey, if you like these other ones that are in this lane, most likely you'll like this. It doesn't mean it's gonna be the exact same. You're gonna like one better than the other, but like very rarely will you like 90% of a lane but hate 10% of it. You know what I mean?
There's also like the whole like a good cigar is a good cigar.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Like,
day, yep.
and it's, you know, because I would have people back whenever I was in humidors that would come in and be like, oh, I want something, you know, mild or something like that. And you're like, why don't you try this like medium plus, you know, this. It's a great cigar. And they always come back and like it.
Especially because they don't know what
Totally.
like mild means. It's like I know what you mean by mild, so try this. You're still gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
They think mild has to mean like, oh, it's got no strength, no flavor. It's like, no, I can give you something medium that's gonna be very flavorful and complex, but it's still not gonna like put you on your ass. Like it's still not that.
Exactly.
That's how we had to train Derek.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd episode in a row we've talked about Derek and his.
Just
Oh,
catching,
we should get Derek on
he's
here.
just catching
Derek's
strays, right?
always a great guest.
Yeah.
Derek's a tremendous guest. So
I think
at-
our sorry, really quick. I think our Cigar Aficionado episode, we got to have as many guests as possible. I'll find the mics. I'll find the way.
I got a couple mics.
Okay,
around,
cool,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
All right, we
we're
got
all
to
set.
find it.
We should just get everybody.
Yeah.
We should just get
Everyone
everyone
just has a different
ever had on the show.
Gets their own little segment.
We should get Terrence back on. We'll get Michael Herklotz. You want to hear someone who has an opinion of the list? John Huber.
Oh,
I was just talking. That's why I had to leave the morning meeting today. John called me. I talked to him for like an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Me and John. We have our annual like ranting phone call about the list that I then take parts of that and add it into my.
What if we
into my
have
rant.
an anonymous like call-in line for industry people? That way they can actually say how they feel about things
There's ways-
without getting in trouble.
yeah. There's ways to mess with their pitch in editing
I got it.
software. Okay,
I think
there
you
we
can.
go.
Here's the thing: Eric Espinosa is going to sound like Eric Espinosa.
Yo, bro.
hey, bro. You just keep making a little. Hey, bro. I'm like, it's still Eric.
Yeah, exactly. You can't change your pitch on that.
I know, dude. Well, like, here's the thing: we can get guys who put absolutely no money towards that magazine, so really don't care. Like John. John, when I was talking to him today, he's like, "Yeah, dude, they're still reviewing like Headley Grange. Like they haven't touched one of our new things in like years. So there are people, but then there's a lot of people. You got to be real hush hush. Yeah, you got to be real careful. But anyway, let's get into our top 10 cigars of 2024, and we're gonna start off with number 10, which you're smoking, which is the HVC Hot Cake. Sorry, there's a glare on here. The Golden Line. That's right, the Golden Line Laguito, which I don't know what Laguito means. But I know it's the Bahique.
It's the Spanish way of saying Luigi.
No. God bless Luigi, right? Take it away, Chris.
Something. All right, I think I'm bugging out. I thought the light just shut off. This is on my palate right now. This is a little bit stronger than I would think, just because of presentation wise. You know, we've talked about the past few episodes. You know, with the golden wrapper, people always think, oh, it might be more mild or medium. But right off the bat, this is great. And I've enjoyed a lot from HVC this
was a big
year.
year
This
for
is
us
a big
with
year for
HVC.
them.
This is a real good year.
The first ever cigar I smoked from them was the Pan Caliente, which was...
We spoke to that. We found that random box at one time.
Yeah, which was amazing. But no, I'm really enjoying this. Did it say the size? Sorry.
So the Laguito
Is it
is like the
Laguito?
name, but the actual
Is it a
size, I wanna say
Toro?
it's a 6x50.
Okay. Yeah.
52 maybe?
I think the past few episodes I've been smoking this size, and I'm getting a different profile with every different cigar. But this is a really good, and it's pairing well with my coffee. But yeah, I mean, I would just, if you guys haven't smoked the HVC hotcakes, our audience, I
I feel like
check
their
it
whole
out.
line's like that. Like I had never smoked HVC before this year, and I think I've probably smoked like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And they're all crazy good.
They're
They're
so
all
good.
straight medium.
Yeah.
It's like
He made such a good point when I had him on the show about it. His profiles can change, and he can have ones that are stronger, ones that are more medium. But he's like this is an interesting fact because I think people might get this confused with like it not being strong or whatever. He's like, the thing I go for with every cigar is a clean finish. I don't want anything sitting on the tongue. He's like, I want you to be able to smoke something stronger or lighter right after you smoke my cigar, and you're good to go.
Yep.
And that's why, like, I can have a whole HVC day, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Your mouth is still, and that's important. That's like a really subtle. That's a thing that a guy who went to school for like agronomy and agriculture, like that's something he would pick up. That's what he went to. I think he went to University of Minnesota or Michigan, or he lived in Michigan for a while. I got to look back at the episode. He lived in like the Midwest doing like agriculture.
I think it was Michigan. Yeah.
Okay,
And then he just like became a big cigar fan. So he was from Cuba, from Havana, but had no ties to like the tobacco industry. His family was all like doctors and PhDs, and he got into this randomly. Like he was always around cigars growing up, but he was never like didn't have like some legendary family. So there's like so much science into it. They are so good. Everything from, I mean, the Golden Line for Connecticut is truly excellent. The Pan Caliente bundles, the mix fill bundles.
Man, I can't get enough of them. Man.
That
really
is
can't.
such a good. It's like summertime. I got a lot to do outside. I want something.
You wouldn't
just
even
to-
think that they're mixed fill when you're smoking them either.
And the price point on those, but like even the first episode of the top 25, we were talking about honorable mentions. I mentioned it. I know it's a bundle cigar went out, but for the price, like you said, you could smoke 2 or 3 of them if you want to back to back.
Right.
They're just so smooth, and yeah, I mean this balances out. Because I'm probably going to smoke it down to the band. It's going to balance out eventually. But even right now where I'm feeling like it's a lot of spice up front, it's not like dominating.
Right.
It's not like dominating to the point where it's like, ugh. You know, so
that's something I want to work with you on. Like we need like that HVC bundle needs to be like bigger. Like there's no reason compared to the other bundles that we sell so much of that one like that bundle is, and the price on it is still like in line with every other bundle we sell. It is so good. It does go to show that sometimes.
How many of those do we got?
A lot. We should have a lot.
Maybe we can just do some sort of site-wide giveaway where we just give away a stick.
Yeah, I can do that.
Over $50.
Yeah,
just
I can
to
even
get it out there.
I can also put in
Yeah.
another. They're cheaper than if I bought bulk.
Yeah,
Like they're already cheaper than like a bulk price.
I was going to ask, could it be that not enough people know about the brand, and that's why?
Yeah.
You know, the bundle consumer is really loyal to the one bundle, and they don't want to kind of like go off the beaten path. Maybe I don't know.
But say something like this, and I thought this for a while. Something like this could screw in like a good way. Could really mess with like the premium boutique industry because you're getting a really good cigar with a premium boutique brand. So like all of those boxes are checked off, but you're getting it for $50 for 25 of them.
Yeah.
So like for the guys who are like, oh, I only smoke, my Dunbartons and my this and this and this. It's like, yeah, well, I have an option for you now that checks off those boxes that you need, but at $2. Like it could be a game changer. I want it to be a game changer. But HVC, I want to say that, and maybe we'll do an episode on like company of the year, but I would say for us, HVC was like we had a big focus with them this year, and I think it turned out really well.
For sure.
What do we got at number 9? Bobby, you're up with the Crown Heads Blood Medicine Toro.
All right. So yeah, I'm smoking the Crown Heads Blood Medicine Toro. This is a new LE from this year, I believe. This year, I believe they brought it back.
Year, yeah.
Love the packaging on it. I'm getting a bit of sweetness up front on the retrohale, getting a little bit of spiciness, some earthy notes there as well. I mean, smoking great so far. This is the first time I've actually had it, so thank you for having me on and giving me the chance to try it out.
Of course. Did you ever smoke the smaller one, like the event-only one, like the Robusto
I did
size?
smoke the original. I haven't gotten past like the first third of it yet. I did love the original one, but so far it's starting off great.
I think I like the Toro more. I don't know why. I did like the Toro. I think John even said it too. I like the Toro a lot more. But
were they made at the same factory?
Yeah, that's Pichardo.
Pichardo? Okay.
Well, whatever it's called.
Pichardo makes great stuff.
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does. I can't remember what it's called now. Tacanixa, I think it's called, because of the whole legal thing with Luciano. But sometimes with John and Crown Heads, I mean, I always am a fan of their stuff, but sometimes I find that like when they're not trying super hard, they make their bet. Like La Vereda was great. It was a really, really good cigar. But they that was like a higher price point. They had to try really hard.
That was from Ernesto, right?
The La Vereda was Ernesto,
Okay.
yeah. But with the stuff like with this one, like Blood Medicine was one of my favorites this year, and I feel like they took an event-only cigar that maybe they didn't put a lot of not a lot of time, but a lot of this is just like a cool cigar to do a thing with. And I think blend-wise, I mean, it was right up my alley. I think the only Crown Heads one better from the past few years, was probably the 10th anniversary Las Calaveras, which didn't make the cut here because it came out too late. But
Can't forget our Mil DS box press Robusto.
Yeah, but that was already on the list.
I know.
Did you guys have the 10th anniversary Las Calaveras?
I don't believe so.
We still have that box up here, right?
we should.
Yeah, we'll give you some. He sent me a box.
Love to try.
Was that an event only that was years ago though?
It was an event only from
2013 or 14?
No, maybe not that far. So he registered so originally it was called Snake Oil because I have the poster. He sent me the poster. It was like an old 1800s style.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody had that probably fucking Gurkha. somebody had that name, so he couldn't use it. So he did Blood Medicine as event only. And then then it was last year he decided to bring it back but in the Toro size, and it smokes so well in the Toro. It really does.
Yeah, it is. It's really smoking great.
I'm just gonna start trademarking names.
We should.
Please do, because our trademark list is stinks. We have nothing.
That's right. Yeah, I have gone down that rabbit hole before.
Well, 'cause
it is a pain in the ass.
If you come up with badass names, just trademark them.
I always yell at Jim because when Jim was that famous, any good name you could possibly use for Romeo, he trademarked. And so they have it.
Smart man.
He was.
Smart
He
man
was.
for that.
I wish he was dumb back then and smart now. Unfortunately, he was smart both times. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love how we're talking about our boss. I wish he was dumb back then.
Yeah. We would have more Romeo trademarks. Damn it.
Imagine if he stunk back then, we'd be so much
He
better
was
off.
just a drooling mess with a dragging foot.
A dragging foot. But no, but now he's always been one of the smartest guys in the industry, which is great now.
Of course.
But
Great
sucks
to have
from
him
when
with
we were
us.
competing with him 5 years ago. So now we're up to number 8, which is the EP Carrillo right here, the Essence Maduro, which is a new core line that Ernesto created at the newly called Casa Carrillo. I don't know if you guys smoked the Maduro version?
I haven't smoked any of these yet.
So it's basically a core line of they're not overly expensive. They're pretty reasonably well priced. But I believe the overfocus is to focus on these different wrapper varieties. So I believe there's a Honduran one that I smoked recently.
Yes, I've had that before
And
with
then but the Maduro one, I mean, a San Andreas wrapper. I mean,
I'm a sucker for that too, man.
yeah, and Ernesto does such a good job with it. I mean, even some of my favorite Crown Heads Maduros he's done. And then he had the black, the Encore Black this year too.
Mm-hmm.
He just does such an amazing job with that darker wrapper.
I can't believe we still have Encore Black in stock.
We got a couple. We got more.
Yeah.
Like very recently there was a whole thing.
Yeah, because we have like almost 100 boxes.
But
Ernesto, he puts so much
He
love
does.
into. I mean, I've been to when it was formerly called TLA, and just
you got to go there?
Yeah, I was there actually when we went down on a trip with Caldwell. He had brought us there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and just the amount of effort that he actually puts in and make sure that everything comes out perfectly is so extensive, and it's awesome to see him, behind the scenes, kind of.
That must have been a surreal trip going to the DR with Robert Caldwell.
That was interesting.
That'd be like me going
It
to
was very
like,
interesting.
the UAE with Matt Booth.
Yeah, it was
You'd
interesting.
be like, what are we gonna do here, buddy?
It was a Caldwell-y trip, but seeing TLA, that was very awesome, and we also got to visit cigar rinks too, so that was
Oh,
that's gotta
nice.
be
pretty cool. Yeah,
Nice. I would love to see their operation.
Yeah.
No, I'm paying them enough.
Hey, I mean, hopefully
show me
someday
where my
soon.
money's going.
Hopefully someday soon, man.
No, Cigar Rings does a really good job. Starkey's tremendous, but Ernesto, and he's got a few, and he made the list again this year. Congratulations to Ernesto. He made CA's list also again. I do feel like Ernesto was probably the last guy to get number 1 that I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. He like that
Deserving
that
of.
check, yeah,
the pledge?
yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Wasn't
What
it
did
the
he got for the
pledge?
pledge, and then he got it for
The encore the first time,
first
right?
encore.
I think it was the Majestic, I want to say.
Yes, because he didn't get it for La Historia.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got it for Encore Majestic, and then he got it for
Pledge.
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 But then he didn't get it for. Was he Allegiance, or was Allegiance one that was made at Oliva?
Allegiance is an EPC cigar, but it's
Made by
Oliva.
Oliva.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that one's really. I actually like the
yeah.
Allegiance a lot. But yeah, check it out. I mean, and in terms of like price range, very reasonably priced. The Essence series, like lower
yeah.
than La Historia, but you're still getting that same kind of quality.
Yeah, it's a great core line from EPC, and definitely check that Maduro one
Yeah.
out.
Number 7, I'm going to let you take this one because I know you're such an adoring fan. We have the Tatuaje Kayonu, which I don't know what it means. 2012 Broadleaf, and maybe you can tell us because I don't know what the whole Koyonu line is about. I mean, if you don't know, it's fine because I know it's.
I mean, I forget exactly what it is. I mean, the Tatuaje portfolio is. Look, I love Tatuaje. Go to their website and look at their portfolio. It makes no sense.
It's very
It makes
it's
zero
very expensive.
sense. But they make amazing cigars. Like this one, I believe it's almost like the 7th Maduro, just not quite as strong, a little bit more refined. A lot of the similar flavors, but you get it in the box press. I think the wrapper might be a specific vintage. I don't think it's actually 2012. I think that was like
That's just like the year.
when the
of
blend
when the blend,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's actually a vintage wrapper. I could be wrong.
That'd be sick if it was.
Yeah.
I will say
Would you like to stare at?
there's a lot of guys
I'm
who
gonna smoke that one.
there's a lot of guys who do broadleaf really well. I mean, Nick and Steve obviously they're
course.
renowned for their broadleaf. Pete I'll tell you, a top 4 cigar I ever had, and you've definitely had it before. I don't know if you guys had, was the pork tenderloin, Tatuaje.
I didn't have the original release. I
had an original from all the way back yonder, and then he did like another batch of it when he was doing his mystery van tour. Mm-hmm. And you could, if you buy like $300 worth of regular Tatuaje, you could buy this. And I had a buddy buy it, and I bought 5 off of him. And that was a broadleaf, and it was, like I said, top 4. I think I have one left floating around somewhere in my humidor. Top 4 cigar I've ever had in my life. It was so
That
good.
was one that was wrapped in the.
It was like in the
like
dude. It was
pack.
genius.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was so simplistic, yet so, just wrapped in a butcher paper, and then the sticker was just like in the same typography that like if you got it at a butcher shop or like you got it at the deli counter. It was so
awesome.
genius to do.
Yeah.
But his work with broadleaf is renowned, and it's some of my favorite monsters. I think the Frank is a broadleaf. I think the Jason is a broadleaf. He just does. I mean, I guess technically it's my father, but it's Pete via my father. But tremendous work. And I think there was a whole bunch of Keonu releases this year. I think there was that one. I think there was a Corojo, I believe, as well. So.
Oh yeah, there was like the 3-part series.
Yeah.
He came out with a lot of stuff this year.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of all small batch, so I'll take as much Tatuaje as he wants to make.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it moves. It does it without any like we don't really need to do a bunch of promotions or stuff with it. It like moves pretty solidly on its own.
yeah.
Like, well, we have 25 monster boxes. They will sell.
Oh yeah, the fans will seek those out. They're coming.
But, if anyone wants, the store here still has the samplers.
What? Which ones?
This year's
The Advent?
No, the
Monster Smash.
Oh, okay.
I did my due diligence and bought one already.
Those Advent calendars? They were
Oh,
all
with
like
the
the 4.5-inch Coronas
Yeah,
or whatever.
those were
Did we
great.
send one of those up? Did we get one?
Those were some
I
of the
thought we like
best.
sent one up. Maybe Jim got one and then like gave us some cigars out of it. There
I
was
think he
something.
did. I
There was
think
something with that.
yeah.
He got it.
He got it and brought it in, and we all handpicked.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll also.
Yeah, I also got one. Rudy got me ginger logistics stuff.
I'll give you something else. He gave me a couple of his Saints and Sinners from this year. I'll let you try one.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what. No idea what the blends on them are, but the 2 I've smoked so far have been awesome.
Yeah.
Hey.
He makes great stuff. And that's the weird, like, that's the thing is, like, I have a weird narrow focus, and it's like Tatuaje fits in that focus completely.
That's that lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nicaraguan, medium full.
Yeah, we talk about him all the time. Like how I don't want to get too much into him, but like how much he's influenced both in his blending style and like how his portfolio looks and how his marketing, his branding.
Yeah.
Like Crown Heads, Foundation,
Those are the first,
Warped, Viaje. They're all, and they would all self-admittedly like we're doing this because of Pete. Like that's
Like,
why.
Do you might remember this? Like, I remember working in humidors whenever like My Father came out.
Yeah.
Like when they first came out and you smoked
Before
it.
My Father was when it was like Pepin Blue and
Yeah,
like before
yeah.
even My
And
Father
it was like
came
you
out.
smoked those, and it was like a total revelation.
Yes.
It was completely different than everything that was
Really?
there.
Wow.
And then Tatuaje came out, with all their stuff, and then it just, took the My Father lane just even further. And then that, that influence. I don't think we were importing more Nicaraguans than Dominicans yet.
I want to say that was
that made those
My
switch
Father
over.
and Pete really helped that. Because listen, Padron has been around since the 70s. Oliva has too, but Padron's, in terms of like the amount of cigars they're making, has never been in excess. Mm-hmm. So they never really sparked a thing. Pete sparked a thing that all these guys started making their stuff. And John would admit first, he's like, I am totally influenced by Pete and like everything that they've done. And then how many guys, Nick and Steve Saka, have kind of learned a lot of like their Nicaraguan style of blending. Because who was really doing Nicaraguan blending like that before him? Padron, Oliva, maybe Plasencia.
But even Oliva, like flavor-wise, Oliva does... Yes, sure, it is Nicaraguan, but there's like the specific My Father, Padron, Tatuaje flavor profile.
Right.
Yes.
Which, Oliva has their own thing going on.
But that transitions beautifully into our number 6 cigar of the year, which is the new Wise Man Maduro Toro from Foundation. Now,
I almost smoked that. I hadn't smoked any of the new
well,
stuff.
dude, we got a few more. So if you want to, you blew through that one. So if you want to smoke
I
another
got
one,
5 of those packs, and I smoked all 5 of those packs.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
no, he.
Shout out our boy Nate.
I am.
Shout out.
I'm sad because the original Wawense and Wise Man Maduro, for me, was because like I knew who Nick was. I knew, and everyone, he helped create the Liga and all this stuff at Drew Estate. But you never know how much a guy is involved in one thing or another.
Of course.
He released original Wawense, which to me was, in my personal cigar journey, was groundbreaking. We talked about it on the other episode. Yep. But I remember even thinking back then, like as much as I really enjoyed it, in terms of its blend, its name, and everything, it was kind of like niche. Like it was like I don't know if El Wawense and this kind of blending is going to catch on to a wider audience. And this is 10 years ago.
And it was also confusing too because the Maduro was labeled as the Wise Man, so people were confused with that.
So when he released the
original,
idea
how you pronounce that either. It's like G-U-E-N-S.
It's G-U-E-G-U-E-N-S-E.
Oh, I can't spell it.
Now I can spell it.
I can't spell it.
I've typed it enough that I get it now.
Me too.
The first time you said it, I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When I first saw it, I was like,
"Is that a Portuguese dish?"
Yeah. Good.
Do you remember what my dad called it? Do you remember what my dad called it?
No. What?
When my dad helped me move, I was wearing a El Wawense shirt, and my dad looks at an old Italian guy, and he's like, "What's El Jujanese?"
That's some bakery you found, Nick? What are you doing?
It sounds like some kind of eggplant dish. The Jujanese.
Is that Caldwell?
Yeah. But when the original Wise Man Maduro came out, and that got number 3 on CA's list, which for a guy Nick's size is fucking unheard of. I remember now knowing how big Nick was going to be because I'm like, this has, especially with the name, but also with the blend, it has more like, it had wider appeal than Wawense is for like very Cuban-esque people who like Aganorsa or like Illusione or like Warped. They're kind of in this lane.
Same lane, yep.
The Wise Man Maduro, the original one, smoother, San Andreas wrapper, Maduro, and the name was easy. I'm like, this is going to start him out on a bigger journey. And right after that he blew up.
Yeah.
So when I found out that he was moving factories and kind of rebranding the Wise Man series, I was like upset because I'm like, how do you take this away? Like it was so important to me too on like my personal cigar journey.
Of course.
But then he was like, "Oh, I'm getting them made at my father." I'm like, "What?" How?
Yeah, he said that was one of the top things for him that he's always been looking forward to doing.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm not going to say it's better than the original because that would hurt my old feelings.
22-year-old,
but
24-year-old Nick would be upset.
The new Wise Man Maduro is primo,
top tier.
It's a tweaked blend. If you like the original, you're going to love this. There is differences. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to have 2 cigars in a box taste the same, let alone different factories.
For sure.
But it is an exceptional cigar. And I think kind of like the timeline of Wise Man, he was able to kind of flawlessly transition to the next one. It's not going to really like miss a beat. Like people who were smoking the last one will smoke this one and enjoy it. And I don't think it even took that much of an uptick in price. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't think it killed its price. But big fan of the new Wise Man Maduro.
Looks great as well.
Even like the Corojo has that the Wise Man Corojo has that blue, that hint of blue that was on the El Wawense box and band.
Yeah.
So even like for people who are used to it and like are kind of, I guess, yearning for it, you still kind of get a feel for it still, or like you get to still reminisce. I guess
it's still easy to distinguish between the old and the new, which is nice. They did a good job with that.
Yeah, because it's not box press anymore too. Which you know me, I prefer my roundeds over the box press. Listen,
of course you prefer the round ones.
Have you ever had a cigar that was available in a box press and a rounded, and you preferred the box press?
Yeah.
Which one?
Series V box press.
So we talked about this yesterday.
You missed this part.
You know what's funny? Yes, but on the opposite end, I prefer the rounded Melanio over the original box press Melanio.
Well, I haven't smoked the rounded one, so
why not? We have several of them. We have many thousands.
Yeah, I think
I guess
when
I
we
would
did
have
the
to-
50th, we
yeah.
might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
That
have
was the
to
50th.
see-
That's the one.
Yep.
I would have to see because they didn't do the Cuatro Nicaragua in a rounded one, did they?
For us, yeah, for the 50th.
Yeah, they did. All right, so
That was my big pitch to companies that
Yeah.
like couldn't make us a new, like didn't have time to make us a new thing. I'm like, can you take your most popular box press and give us a rounded version? And it was the Cuatro Nicaragua and the Oliva V Milanio, and they were our biggest sellers.
Yeah.
Not the quickest. The Dunbarton was the quickest, but
Oh,
our
yeah, that
biggest in terms of how many we sold was those two.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It
don't
was
know.
only quick because Steve Sacco was just bashing JR for 45 minutes on.
Oh my god, dude! I was
Facebook
on a
Live.
live Facebook with
It
him.
was the most embarrassing.
watched
embarrassed I've
Christine
ever
was
felt in
texting
my
me,
life.
she'd like, be like, "Wrap it up, like get it done."
Because
quick.
this is how it went down that day. We were at a
Wild card that Steve Saka is. It's
we were,
hilarious.
But we were at a
Legend.
company lunch, and like,
it was during the holidays,
it was
wasn't
during
it?
the holidays.
Yeah.
So everyone else got to go home after the 2-hour lunch, and Nick and I are like, all right, we're going to come back to the office for like 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to do this. And I don't know if it was just me and you,
I think it was just me and you.
And why do I feel like other people here? Anyway,
Was I drunk?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think we drank it.
I was trying to be very focused because it was like
Yeah.
a live stream.
Yeah.
I've never really done one, and he is just going in on everything.
Have you watched that one?
He's dangerous because of how much he knows about JR because he worked
And it was
here.
the first time we made it live to Facebook. Live, like
Yeah, it was live
straight
direct.
live.
It was direct live.
to Facebook. Never did that again.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Because I think at some point he was like something like, you know, and like the Chinese market's like, you're owned by the Chinese, aren't you? And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All good. Thank you, sir.
Well, I mean, also back then it was a different company. You know, as
Yeah,
far
when
as,
he was here,
our
yeah.
department,
We
and
were-
everything. Well, when he was here, yes, especially
when
but
he
the
was here, yeah.
holdover
But even-
before Jim came in.
Yes, this was right. So this was 21.
21.
This is actually, yeah, it was like
Or was
it was like December of 21
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the whole 50th started in February of 21.
Yeah.
He was the last one.
He was
So
the
it
one to put the bow on top of the whole thing, and his
what a
bow-
bow
his-
it was.
Yeah, his bow
And it did
consisted
sell like
of roasting. Yeah,
we
it
did
sold
sell
out,
out
right?
500 boxes in 2 days.
Yeah,
So
it
didn't
sold
move.
out by the week, but by the next Monday or something.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah.
That became the Mikir to Black.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right? Saka
the
Con?
the big one, the 7x52.
Is that the
whatever.
Saka
Yeah.
Con or
7x54. Yeah, no, the one before that. No, the Saka. It is Saka.
Yeah, it's
Con.
Yeah,
Saka
Saka.
Con.
Then the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
one's Papa Saka.
Yes.
What was kind of nice transition to our number 5 cigar of the year because this is kind of in one of the brands that Steve and Steve and Nick helped create. I'm doing the Liga Privada H99 Connecticut Corojo Toro, which I'm going to say this, and this might be controversial, with the exception of the Unico, the UF13. With the exception of that, I think this is the best Liga Privada cigar I've smoked. I just that's what I
My
think.
lips are shut. I will not make a comment.
I'm just the original UF13 is like one of those desert island ones for me. The UF13 was so fucking good with like that little pigtail on it. It was so good. But
That's a bold statement.
I'm going to tell you why. In my old age, and you can see there's gray in my beard, which means I have aged.
Oh, looks like he dyed it a little bit.
Shut up. My girlfriend wants me to be. Have you seen Target Santa? Like that hot Santa that's in the Target commercials. He's like, he looks like he's like a jack guy with a beard. And it's all
Did you
gray.
just compare yourself to hot
No,
Santa?
she wants me to be. She wants me to gray out everything, so I kind of look like hot Santa.
Just
he's all-
put a little bullseye around your eye and say, I tried, babe.
Yeah,
Hold on. No. There's a Photoshop that's going to happen of this.
Oh, it's
I know
gonna
you're.
happen.
I know you're
yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
happen.
know
now.
you're gonna do it. Oh, she's
Warren
definitely
did,
sent me a
Warren
picture
did the
of.
Photoshop of the album
think
cover.
Ooh.
I think there's a Hot Santa Nick's Daily Deals on JR right
Yeah,
now.
so
I'm
it's kind of like that guy.
this.
Yep,
I'm
that's exactly what it
liking
looks
you're
like.
putting up.
Yeah, the beard could be gray now on the website.
Yeah,
So does he have like muscles?
he does. Yeah, I don't.
Okay. All right.
you
That's a
can
big
get it.
Photoshop, but I'll do
Yeah,
it.
just put. Honestly, if you put my face on his body, we'll know the difference. But like, it'll still look nice. But she wants me to gray out everything. She wants me to like. But I'm like, it would look weird on me because it's not naturally gray. It would just look like I have white hair. It would look fake.
So back to
Yeah. So
the
anyway,
Liga Privada.
as I've gotten older, I like to find balance, and like I like a medium body with flavor, but that's like not going to kill. Not in terms of like overall strength, but not going to kill my palate. one of the reasons I've been very attracted to HVC this year is like those clean finishes. And even when we were sitting with the guys from Drew Estate, Brian and Ryan, one of their big things about the H99 is that it's a Liga you can smoke any time of day, before or after any other cigar, and you're going to enjoy it. Whereas a T52 or a Liga number 9, if that's your first cigar of the day, good luck smoking anything else. It's not like a Jacob's Ladder or something.
A bit more heavy.
Maybe I do just smoke strong cigars. Because when I think of Liga and I think of Unico, I think of full-bodied, strong, but still highly, highly flavorful. And I think that's
highly flavorful.
H99 kind of threw me off as I was like, wow, this is outside of the Liga wheelhouse completely.
It is, but that's why I think I like it. I love Liga, but again, I like medium. I like a little bit of nuttiness. I like, again, something that I can smoke 5 of these in a row and my tongue is not shot and I'm not sweating. If I smoke 2 Liga 9 Toros in a row, I mean, I'm gonna get to
you definitely shouldn't smoke them back to back.
You should not. You should not.
That's a PSA right there.
And the last one I had that found that true balance, even though it was kind of in the Liga in the number 9, family, was the UF13. But that's because the Unicos are like aged more and they use a higher price. Like there's a lot more refinement that goes into them, which is why they're more expensive. But no, I was very much enthralled this year, and I know it's been out for a couple of years now. The other one that I left off that we should have had the honorable mention was the 10th anniversary Liga. Is exquisite.
Oh yeah,
that's UF13 level for me as well. It's not enough.
Am I the only one that just is like, no?
Well, you only smoke strong cigars.
My God, I guess I do have a narrow lane.
Well, you know what you got to do?
I really don't.
You got to reset your palate. You need to smoke super mild stuff for like 2 weeks.
God, I hate mild.
I know.
It's so boring. I can smoke HVCs.
What do you think? What did you think of the M?
Let's pass.
Okay.
Pass.
The thing about this, though...
Revival, too? No bueno?
I mean, Revival is pretty... look, for the price tag, Revival's great.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I didn't know your last name before, so we're even now. We'll call it a draw.
Well, I mean, it's the price, balance, price, flavor, ratio.
No, but like, listen, you like your palate to be like activated. Like, I need something to like get it, dude. It's like me versus Jim. I mean, I'm not a bourbon drinker anymore, but when in my fat heyday, when I was just eating all kinds of stuff and drinking, I couldn't. I was drinking a lot of bourbon back in the day, but I was still, even when I was drinking a lot, was going for Basil Hayden, like Michter's American, like very smooth, like a little bit of sweetness. I look at the percentages on these bottles that Jim's drinking, and I'm like, dude, this is
insane. It's
this
insane.
is but that's what he likes. He likes his palate needs to be activated. If I gave him like a Basil Hayden, he'd be like, this is nothing. Like the flavor's not there for me. So it's just the same for you. You need that. You need a higher percentage.
When you talk about like the layers of flavors, the stuff that I don't like talking about, I could find more layers of different types of flavors and something that's more medium to full. Like if it's mild, to me, mild is much more about, sitting around and smoking with people, or like you said, like I want to smoke something else after this, or like, there's a time and a place for it, but
don't you find that with at least some people, not like the best of the best, but with some, those medium to full things, because they're not done super correctly, sometimes there is one note that like just dominates. Dominates too much. Yeah. And so I find when somebody's doing something medium, almost by default, there has to be nuance, because there's not necessarily one note that's driving the train. And a lot, not all, and definitely not things on this list, but there's a lot of medium to full bodies that like it's got a lot going on, but like there's a whole band playing, but the drums are really fucking loud. Mm-hmm. Like the drums, like you hear the drums more than anything else. Whereas sometimes it's like a string quartet, because like the cello is going to be louder than the violin. Like they're the same acoustic kind of instrument.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like kind of piggybacking off what Andy's saying, but now in my smoking career, quote unquote, when I'm smoking a cigar, I think I want to get the maximum experience. And to me, I don't want to speak for Andy, but to me, mild cigars mellow
They don't
cigars,
maximize your experience.
They don't, and I don't want to say it's a waste of a smoke session, but I feel like if I'm going to tend to smoke something that's a little bit stronger, so I can get like the full experience.
No,
I definitely understand. I guess I understand where he's coming from,
and it's not that like it's not that I don't like mild cigars. It's just they gotta be right. Like if I'm smoking a Davidoff White Label, that is completely mild, but like flavor wise, it's just intense.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
No, but then even
unique,
in that presentation we saw the other week, I mean the point about somebody like Padron. Like Padron tried to make a mild Connecticut, and as good of a company as Padron is, like as great as every single one of their releases and their cigars are,
Yes.
that was one that they just couldn't do. They just couldn't nail it down.
It took a while. It's doing well now.
The Damaso?
Yeah, it
Really?
actually does well now. But when
Do you
it
think
first
it's more
came,
of a price thing? Because it's got to be the cheapest Padron by a decent amount.
I mean, I think it's a kind of a combination.
Okay, I'll take
I think
that.
it's a combination. But yeah, when it first came out, it was a huge flop. And
Dude, they
now
offered
I'm
that to
surprised
us.
to see it.
I think you guys know this. I think because you were working for Maribel at the time, they offered it to Maribel as like an exclusive because it was just not.
That might have been right before I'd
Yeah,
started.
it was just not doing anything. Like, I'm glad to see that it. I didn't ever thought it was bad, but it's one of those things where it's like
If
it
you're
was
used-
like those Davidoffs, like the stronger before Davidoff did like the black label ones. Like I was a big Davidoff Millennium fan, but to go from very mild to like the Davidoff Millennium, it didn't catch on with the general populace in terms of like their stronger
Padron
cigar.
smokers, yeah,
so
people that are looking
Padron
for
smokers, it was the same thing.
1926,
They
64,
had their
yeah.
fan base that likes medium to full body.
Yes.
And at first, the Damaso, like it just wasn't catching with those people. And the people who like mild, they already had their Monty Whites, their Davidoffs. They already had their brands.
Agreed.
So I'm not going to go and spend this much money on a Padron.
It's funny you bring that up though, because that is like one of the crazy polar opposites. Like a company who's known for making, we'll just say full-bodied cigars.
Yeah.
Releases a mild cigar. There's nothing in between.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no medium.
No.
They're just like, a mild one.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to grab it more.
I think
different type of cigar smoker.
I think they maybe tweaked the blend. I think
That's what I
you're
think,
right.
Chris.
I think that it was like, I don't want to say a cash grab, but I think it was like, oh, we need something in this space. Let's just make one and it'll sell
try it,
well.
yeah.
And then I think when it didn't, I think they might have like tweaked some things behind the scenes. Like,
I don't
Sure.
think, I don't think they were grasping at straws or even like a cash grab. I just think they were like, let's
Yeah,
try
I-
try
something
something
different.
new.
But
Yeah.
a demographic grab.
Yeah.
I think
it
it
doesn't
might
make
have
sense to
been
me, though.
even different than that. I think people at their office wanted to smoke something that wasn't strong. Because
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, imagine
I'm
this working
notorious
there.
for just calling Padron's office line and placing an order, because that's the way I used to do it. And I remember ordering Damaso, and the lady on the phone, who's the same lady that's been there for like 20 years or something like that. She was like, I ordered one of the Damasos, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, that's my favorite. She's like,
wow.
that's my
All right.
favorite cigar. She's
Okay.
like, I smoke it all the time. So I think it might be something internal, or they were like
Like an
"I just
undercrown
want
where it's like
something."
we made this like we needed something our staff could smoke that
Yeah.
wasn't killing their
Ligas all day.
palate or also killing like our bottom line.
Yeah.
Because they were smoking all Ligas before. Then they're
Uh-huh.
like, we need to make something different for you guys.
Yeah.
So imagine just sitting in an office and smoking 26 anniversaries all day.
I could do it.
I know you could.
I can.
Andy, if there's one
I
man,
can.
if there's one man for that challenge, I would nominate you.
Tell you what, I'll start off with the 1000 series to the 64 to the 26 to the Family Reserve.
What really
the
quickly,
90th.
because we've talked about this cigar a few times throughout these episodes. The Brimstone, Jacob's Ladder Brimstone.
Oh God.
Does that like kick your ass or?
Yeah, it's crazy strong.
Yeah.
It's crazy strong, but it's like, and that's,
But do you like that profile? Is it too strong for
it's
you?
got to
Is
be
it-
the right time.
Okay.
I smoked one of the regular Southern draws the other day, the
Jacob's Ladder.
Ladder one, and it's like it has to be the right time of day, and I have to want it
Yeah,
because it is
okay.
crazy strong. It's and that's the thing, is it still has 3 or 4 flavor notes to it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, there's one, and I'm not going to mention it, but it was a limited edition a few years ago. And people were like, oh, it's real strong. You'll like it. You'll like it, dude. I lit it up. It was the spiciest cigar I've ever smoked.
Wow.
I got that far. I paid for that cigar, and I threw it
Remind me
away.
to ask you off camera because I'm curious what it is.
Yeah, and I'm
Because
sure.
the regular Jacob's Ladder is already in my mind like at the limit of like All right,
Full body,
it's as good as a really full body could be without being too much. But it was like at that corner. Then the brimstone just like went over that line. But he did that into like he was fine with it. That's what he wanted to make.
Yeah,
so he
exactly.
was successful in what he sought out. But I was a big Jacob's Ladder fan. But like Andy said, it was very like time of day. All right, I'm in the zone for this. The brimstone. Man, I don't know.
You got to sit down. With
I don't know if I'm going to go through hard enough times to need one of those. Like that's a rough. I mean, I need something to just to put my lights out.
Yeah, you got to have
I can never
chocolate in your
smoke
soda ready.
that. I can never smoke the brimstone like during the summer. I am always sweating, overheated.
And they were in that big
yeah,
fucking size, that big diadema size, Salomon size.
Yeah.
I would probably have to smoke that like 20-degree weather, like just.
Cool yourself down.
That's like you're stuck in the Arctic. I'm like, all right, this will get me going.
Tailgating or something like.
They should put it as like a cure for hypothermia. Like that'll get your body going. So that moves us along to number 4. Which is one that you're thoroughly enjoying right now, which is the Sin Compromiso from Dunbarton, the Selección
Thank
number
God,
4.
I'm almost done with it, and they finally get to me.
I've been just so you can light up your next one.
I've been wanting to pull off this band for like 20 minutes.
Coro.
Yeah, I saw him stop smoking for like 20 minutes. Like
I'm
gonna wait.
staring at it.
You can light up the next one while you're talking about that one.
So I don't only smoke strong cigars. Damn it, he was right.
Only 99% of the time.
But yeah, I mean, Sin Compromiso.
Sin Compromiso is real good.
The Sin Compromiso, I mean, it's everything that you want in a full-bodied cigar. It's strong. It has layers of different flavors. It's got leather notes. It's got spice. It's got chocolatey flavors to it. I mean, it's one of those where if you smoke full cigars, or you just want to try something that's full, and having that full balanced cigar, like this is one of the best.
So I have to ask you, because I know you're a straight shooter, Andy. You're not going to fluff this for anyone. Do you think that whole like how they do the tobacco, like when they cut the lower leaf, do you think that actually makes a difference?
What do you mean?
So the what makes Sin Compromiso so special and why it's so expensive is they cultivate the tobacco the same way a lot of Japanese farmers do, like their really special watermelons, where they will, as the plant's growing, they will remove all of the bottom smaller leaves, so all the nutrients just go to the top.
100%.
Which it leaves much fewer leaves to like utilize, especially like for the wrapper and everything. But they get the most nutrients, so they're the most plush, the most flavorful. Do you think it makes a difference?
100%. 100%, because the plant has less to, it
less
doesn't have to
yeah.
make all these other leaves,
exactly
alive. It can take all that and just put it to, the few that they decide.
So
to
I will
leave.
say, when I first heard that when Sin Compromiso was released, I thought it was kind of like a BS thing. And like, what? I liked the cigar, so I didn't care. I was like, whatever the story.
Yeah.
But I've given you guys the strawberries, the Oishi strawberries from my girlfriend's roommate.
Oh yeah.
That's a Japanese, agriculture company, and they do strawberries and tomatoes. And on certain editions, they do the same thing. They will have a whole like plant, and as it's growing, they will pluck the smaller ones out, and it will only go towards like a plant that might get you like 15 strawberries will give you 4 or 3, but they're bright red, big, plump, juicier, more flavorful. So it is like a real thing.
It's like the watermelon contest people.
Yeah, but it's
That-
so
this giant
not.
plant that takes up the whole yard, but there's just one not watermelon, pumpkin.
Yeah,
And it's just 500 pounds sitting in the middle.
It's so not cost efficient, like which is fine for a contest, but when you're actually actively trying to like sell something, it makes it. But I will say it's worth it. I think Sin Compromiso doesn't get the love. I think I don't want to say there's another brand on the list that gets a lot of love. Mi Querida gets a lot of love.
You're welcome.
The Mi Querida Black. I feel like Sin Compromiso might be his most accomplished cigar in terms of its complexity, what he was able to do with it, but doesn't get like the overwhelming Dunbarton support that like the other brands get. Like everything else he releases, the Moisture de Saka, the fanboys clamor and they go for it.
Yeah.
I feel like Sin Compromiso. It was the same thing with I'm blanking on the name now. The fucking really strong one he released that he got rid of. Come on. It had an extra fuerte was one of the like the limited sizes of it. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh.
It was the only one that he discontinued, or he like had to stop making it. It had a really strong wrapper on it. Why am I blanking on this? Right now?
I can remember seeing it.
It had like a silver band, I want to say.
Yeah.
It was a core line for him. He released it in maybe 2019, 2018.
Was it the Todos Los Dias?
Todos Los Dias.
Yes.
Yeah,
The black
yeah.
and silver.
Yeah.
Yes, which I felt
I
like
always
was...
thought he rebranded that to the Mi Querida, like the Saka Con. I thought that was. I know we just said it was our 50th, but I don't know why I thought
No, because the Mi
he
Querida...
discontinued that completely.
The Mi Querida Black is still broadleaf. The Todos Los Dias was like some kind of Habano. It was super spicy. I loved it.
Yeah, I was
I
lucky
like that a
enough
lot,
to.
too.
I liked it
I was
a
lucky
lot.
enough to smoke that.
But that was definitely...
starting it.
I think he kind of released that in the same vein as like Mi Querida and his other like kind of core lines. But talk about like a specific time of day. Todos Los Dias was like this is just what you're having for the next like 2 days. Like, you have to you're smoking one of these because it had a lot going on. It was great though. It was the best version of that.
Definitely.
Are you gonna smoke one of those too? You want to take it?
Do you care?
No. Why would I give a shit?
I don't know.
You got time. We're only on number 4. It took us 3 hours to get this far. Thank God for Nick. Otherwise, we'd just be talking shit the whole time.
Thank God for Chris for editing out the bad parts.
I'm this close away from my vacation. This episode stands between me and 2 weeks off.
We'll get you there, baby.
I'm fine.
Gotta get to that
Our
Xbox.
longest episode yet.
Yeah.
Weren't we like trying not to smoke a lot up here so it doesn't get into accounting's office?
Yeah, again, I'm
That's
off
kinda
for 2
why I
weeks. So
stopped.
Yeah.
happy holidays.
I work from home the rest of the month anyway.
So our number 3 cigar of the year, which I think to some might be a surprising choice, but we were really struck by this when it came out. And I know I've smoked through 2 tins on my own so far, is the Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour in the Petit Panatella, which is these kind of petite little guys. But
I'm always surprised when, I guess, companies like Davidoff do petite sizes. I don't know why.
I mean, Davidoff.
I've always just seen like minis in.
We just passed them around. I'll take
I've
them.
always
it out.
seen minis in like.
Okay,
There's none in there.
I'll get you some. We have more from the Cigar of the Month box. I'll get you some.
I've always seen minis in like Romeo, Monte Cristo, which I know are big brands. But
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little
But-
shocked that they would do that. But this is like.
You'd be surprised. Davidoff has a lot of like minis and cigarillos
Yeah,
that sell.
And
It
I've
fits in
never
with the
given like
Primeros.
minis the time of day.
Yeah, the Primeros are
Primero,
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never given them the time of day because I don't know if I'm just like, man.
Well, what time is it now?
Yeah. It's a good time of the day to light one up,
Yeah,
baby.
it is. But no, we smoked one on the podcast a few weeks ago, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, wow.
What shocked me is because I think that, and like, I'm very interested to see Andy's perspective on this. I think the
Here we
late
go.
hour is
I do love how I've become the go-to guy to have the dissenting opinion.
No, what did I say?
I know. It's bad.
Eclectic.
Jim, when we were doing the tasting of the cigar that we can't talk about just yet, he's like, "Andy, what do you think?" And I'm like, "It's okay," which is a great score.
I was
if it's
better than bad.
No, it was really good. It just I have.
Listen, but that's why I
Yeah.
asked you your opinion. Like, keep being you. I need you to be you. I need someone there to keep me in check.
All right.
I mean, you need a
but
it's your preference at the end of the day.
I view the late hour as probably the strongest Davidoff.
Am I supposed to keep staying quiet? Or
Yeah, you can hop in anytime. What do you think is the strongest Davidoff?
I mean, the Millennium Blend is probably one of their strongest. Yamasa.
I was going to say.
I was going to say Yamasa or
too.
Nicaragua.
I think Yamasa is meant to be their strongest one.
I believe so. Dr. Holman, correct us if we're wrong.
Do you think?
Yeah, I
mentioned
always
Nicaragua.
found.
Call in to our anonymous tip line.
No, I don't. Especially, I smoked. Did you smoke that Nicaragua I gave you this morning?
Not yet, no.
I smoked that. I think it was smooth
Was
as
it?
like
Okay.
silk.
Maybe
great.
Yamasa,
Nicaragua,
Yamasa is stronger. and
The
I'm getting too
Nicaragua,
confused.
I was actually even more surprised. The Nicaragua 10th anniversary that came out last year that was on our list.
Yeah.
That was
Holy shit, was that
Yeah.
thing good? Oh my god! But I found the late because the regular Winston Churchill I think might be my favorite overall Davidoff because again it's in my wheelhouse, a very well balanced, some sweetness, some spice, everything.
Yes.
Late hour I love, but in my mind it was the most like flavor forward. The Yamasa is strong, maybe like nicotine wise, but personally I find the late hour to be like more intensity, more smoke. It has like a more traditional like Maduro kind of effect to it. So when it came out with the Petit, I'm like, all right, how are they gonna pack all of this in? Because sizes can really like determine how good something is. I'm like, is this gonna be just like way too much if they're trying to pack into this little cigar? It has the exact same balance as I would find in like a Churchill size of that, which I thought was super impressive.
Yeah.
And they're also, I think it's like, what is it, $30 for the tin of 5, which good luck getting Davidoff. And it's a quality Davidoff. It's not like it's a nonsense Davidoff.
No, not at all.
It's like a half Lancero, basically, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look at the ash. There's like little specks on it.
Yeah. And honestly, I only want to smoke half a Lancero these days anyway. We'll just smoke the last half of a Lancero.
Nah.
Yeah, what am I, a lady? A lady Lancero?
A lady Lancero.
No, you are sexy Santa Claus. Don't ever forget, you are sexy Santa Claus.
It's Hot Santa.
Hot Santa.
Hot Santa, you're gonna get
which is
there.
the next Netflix movie we're gonna produce.
Trademark.
Isn't there already like
That's Hot Frosty.
Hot Frosty.
Yeah.
I started watching that with my wife.
No
and
good?
I'm like, she's like, what are you watching? And I was like, we're changing
Oh, so
the channel.
so when you said you started watching it with your wife, you mean you started watching it and then your wife walked into the room?
No,
Or she was watching it.
I had no idea what it was.
I'm sure they started and they're like, what's going on?
Megan would not let it. She's a big into the Christmas movies, but she's like, Frosty looks weird. Like the guy who played like the hot Frosty did not look like attractive. He was like a weird looking dude.
Just watched one movie where Chad Michael Murray was in it.
Oh, that's the strippers?
The stripper one.
Yeah,
I was like,
Christmas
what
strippers.
are you doing right now?
I saw that. I did not click on that.
Yeah, no. I was
that
like,
one-
Put it out.
no,
front
but
what
just
it
as like, let's
was.
watch a Christmas
Me and
movie.
Bobby
I
didn't
wasn't
watch
paying
it together
attention.
either.
No, never.
Nah,
I wasn't paying
Definitely
attention.
not holding
then,
hands.
then all of a sudden they got a strip to save Christmas or a Christmas bar. I'm like, what is this bullshit?
Did you finish the movie?
Yeah, and I'm kind of mad because
Spit my coffee
and I'm kind of mad that I didn't think of the idea to make millions of dollars from all the women.
So you know what we do is we write a script and then we strip to finance that script. It's just gonna be an endless cycle of stripping
Weinstein's
for
not in
things.
Hollywood anymore, so we don't
I
have
don't
to do
think I
that.
think I was Weinstein's type.
Hey, you never know.
I wasn't a
He liked them
buxom
all.
lady.
He liked them all.
I'm more of a Diddy type.
Oh boy. That's why all that baby oil was by your desk, huh?
I buy in bulk, all right? I got a good bulk price at Costco.
Speaking of, I was at Costco earlier. Dude, they had like lip balm. It was 20 lip balms. What do you do with 20 lip balms?
You got lip balms for 5 years.
Dude, it was literally like
And
the
they'll probably go
idea
bad by
of that
next
was
year.
so that whole store, and then I think BJ's came after that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Costco was just like a guy who was like, oh, I have a supermarket, and so like the manufacturer makes it, it goes to this wholesaler who has a warehouse of big things, and I go and I take like, out of the pack of 20 lip balms, I take 5 of them, but then I have to mark it up. I was like, what if I'm just that guy and I sell direct to consumer? Like, what if I just get the big warehouse and just come around with a giant shopping cart or that big orange, like there's that big like trolley thing.
Oh
you push
yeah.
around.
Oh yeah. I used one of those recently.
I'll give you the biggest hot dog
are you
and
buying
worst
from
pizza.
Costco?
Hey, don't worry about it. Some Christmas
The
presents.
$10 pizzas are so worth it.
Their
Dolphins, hot dog, and
electronics
soda. Yeah.
are actually like they have like Sony's and Samsung like
Oh,
TVs.
they have like gaming PCs there. They got
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
types of crap now.
Clothes aren't
Yeah.
too bad. Like the shirts aren't too bad, but
They got everything.
One thing I will buy from Costco is they have half lambs.
Interesting.
I don't know if this one over here has it, but I've been to many places. It's either half or whole lambs you can buy.
that's great.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
I'd
holiday
imagine
season
that.
or for whatever. I mean, I could eat
Yeah,
lamb
Easter
whenever.
lamb chops, we
I
do
could eat
lamb chops.
whenever.
Ooh.
My dad ate the skull one year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah, that sounds funky.
What kind of Italian shit is that?
It was called cappuccel. It's an Italian dish we eat. It's lamb's head. I mean, a lot of Greeks, a lot of Mediterranean people eat lamb's head. But
Is it like the cheek meat?
no? It's the brain. It's like I swear to God.
Okay.
This is how sad I am.
Hold on, no. What does it taste like?
It tasted like it was well seasoned, but it tasted like a brain. Like it tasted
That
like
makes
mushy,
sense. That
like
works.
crispy
Yeah.
brain. We baked it. It was not great.
Textures. Yeah.
But my dad used to trick me to go food shopping with him. He's like, "Oh, if you come with me to Costco, I'll buy you lunch." thinking that you get to go to the little food court and have a hot dog. No,
he just
he
bought
would
you the
send me
free
to the free
stuff, yeah.
samples.
Yeah.
He would send me. He's like, go take a lap and meet me in the condiment section.
I will never be beneath getting the free samples.
No,
Of
and I'm going back for
course
seconds.
not.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm like the opposite. I don't want the free samples.
I want.
I don't know why. I really should.
I'm paying you. What is it? $140 a year membership fee. I'm getting mine back in samples.
Here's the thing. I go to Costco for like a handful of things. I buy meats there. I buy gluten-free bread. That's it. I regularly
That's some sandwich you're making.
I regularly leave Costco with 2 loaves of gluten-free bread.
2 loaves of gluten-free
Yeah.
bread
People
and 40
look
lamb
at me like I'm
chops.
crazy.
But it lasts.
It's not for me.
Okay, yeah.
Why don't you? But you don't buy. Like, why don't you get your other stuff there? If you're already paying for the membership, might as well get your ketchup. You only got to buy it once.
Because it's too much.
Yeah.
It's only
keep it in
me
a
and one
closet.
other person.
But do it for
Keep it
stuff
in the
that'll
closet.
stay. Yeah, do ketchup and mustard. If you don't open it, leave it in the closet. It'll last. It'll last a year for 5 ketchups. Bring it to the office. Share the ketchup.
Someone will take it.
Yeah, someone will
party.
take it. All right, we're almost there, guys.
The Costco detour.
Yeah.
What's our number 2?
So our number 2, and I know
Thanks for moving it along,
I
Chris.
know we're gonna get a little. I know we're gonna
trying.
get a little flack for this, but I swear to God, this is how the math worked out from everyone's votes. We have our private label, the Crafted by JR Aganorsa Toro.
How could you?
I know. Well, no, because listen, you know,
I'm saying it now before any people in the
always-
comments say it.
We
so.
we usually have 1 or 2 of our private labels in the top 25 list.
We had the Crafted by
To Crown Heads one.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of our 50th, and it for a few reasons. Like we have private label cigars that maybe aren't my favorite, but in recent years we've only been making like really good stuff because like we've been doing new partners and like finally following the trends.
Yep.
So like we've actually been making very, very good cigars. I try, and especially when it was just me and Chris doing it, I don't want to put it too high because I do feel like there will be some kind of backlash. Like you're just
No,
trying to
number
promote
2
your
is
own
not
shit.
number 1, so.
But this was
You're
literally.
there.
I'll
first
show
or last.
everyone the map. This is how it shaked out, and I didn't tell you guys any cigar to put on here. I'm like, as long as we sell it, that was the only criteria. We have to sell it.
Really?
And this was on.
You bought me a 5 for 5 to put it at number 2.
You still owe me a 5 for 5. How much you want to go back about this? You owe me a 5 for 5 for 5 years.
Yeah,
You owe
inflation
me a
now is
5 for
probably
5.
inflation now is probably like
Yeah, you owe me
$150.
$130.
Oh boy.
Stupid Super
But
Bowl.
the Crafted by JR Aganorsa was literally on, out of the 10 people, I think it was on 6 or 7 people's lists. And then it got the second most amount of like number 1 votes when I then condensed the list.
Yeah.
Wow, who'd you pay off for that?
No one.
Terrence. No.
And I will say it is a really, really good cigar.
It is. Mexican
It really
San
is.
Andreas
it's
wrapper.
Aganorsa.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, you're
can't
not
go
going to go
wrong.
But it's
wrong.
I also
Not
here's the
all.
thing.
And it's like $8, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like $8.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have those new lighters. We have new Crafted by branded those Winston lighters from Lotus that you can now enjoy with your box of Crafted by.
Yes.
But it's a pure Aganorsa Maduro, sweet, rich, good flavor, good strength on it. But simple. It's not overly branded. We're turning this Crafted by JR into like our core house brand. What alternatives have been for the past 20 or 30 years, which is kind of fit the marketplace at that time. This is what I want Crafted by to be in the future. I want this to be the brand people think of when they think of JR cigars. And I think the first one with Crown Heads was exceptional, and then Aganorsa is right up there. We have a few more that we have planned for next year. So I think it's very well deservedly at our number 2 spot. And then number 1, this was the unanimous number 1. Like almost everyone had it on their initial list, and then just about everyone voted it as their number 1 on the next list. I will say you did not have it on your initial list.
No, but now that I'm looking back, I could totally put it up there.
And that
For sure.
is the Umbagog Bronzeback. So one thing I'll say is I don't want to say the hype played into its rating here. This was probably I know most of us didn't go to PCA or anything this year, but when we were sent our members of our team to that show and we were bringing some stuff back, this was the one I had the most hype about. I was so excited to try it because anything Steve Saka is great, but anything Broadleaf, I'm like I'm on board. I'm very much on board. Now, I do need to read this article because I can't remember exactly like what the special. Because I forget he does so much special things that sometimes it's hard to remember.
You're right.
So this one's definitely it's got a little more spice to it. So I think it's a different priming of wrapper.
And I do love the story behind the first Umbagog. You know, and how he I think he named it after the lake up in
his
New
fishing
Hampshire,
lake,
and how he would take that, I guess, blend or so to go when he was fishing. He would smoke that. So I think that's pretty cool. But I don't know. I guess I'm just a sucker for like a great visual band, and I just love the gold on the green.
The gold pops for
you
sure.
know, I'm just a sucker
Christmas
for
strippers. Sucker for a good.
I'm looking for a good Christmas stripper. You know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen.
And Michael and Paul and John.
No,
and
they have
Sean.
whiter names. It's like Owen and Hugh and Luke.
I got to show my wife this because she'll love the fact that you guys are dogging me because I sat there like an asshole and watched it.
Hey, man.
done
Happy life, happy
anything
life.
else.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you got to do that.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. I don't think he outwardly said it, but everyone knows that the original Umbagog is like the same wrapper that's on Mi Querida, just like the ones that couldn't make the cut for, just visual reasons or whatever. I think that Bronzeback might be the same thing, but for the Tricky Traca. Because the Tricky Traca is a different grade of broadleaf that's a little heavier, a little spicier. I think that's what this is. But on the flip side, the same way I feel, and I'm in a minority opinion here, I find the Tricky Traca to be smoother than the original, even though it's got Lajero and like a different grade of wrapper.
The blue's the original?
Blue is the original, red is Tricky Traca. I find the red to be just smoother. I just like it better. I find the Bronzeback, even though it's supposed to be more spice forward, to be smoother than the original Umbagog. Again, that's just me. But for him to sell this at the price that he sells it at, which I think is like $7, I hate to say this, but it's almost like he's being generous.
Yeah,
It's
really
almost
is.
like he's being generous. Because
sure.
he could literally lose this at $14, and I think he would have sold the same amount of cigars. Because he also keeps his production like to a pretty finite. Like it's not like he's making 1 million of them, and then if it was more expensive, he would only make 100,000.
Yeah.
He's probably making the same amount of these he would have made at any other price point. But really, the cigar that I was most hyped for this year, and the one that delivered the absolute most, like truly from each puff. I mean, I've been through, and they're so easy to smoke, which is another thing of how I define a good cigar for myself these days. Is it easy to smoke? If I have something that's more complicated and I have the time and like the right drink and the right mindset where I can kind of decipher the flavors and like, oh, that's interesting, that's a cool thing. But nothing gets my goat more than something. I can just smoke 5 of these all day. I'm doing something, I can put it down, I can pick it up, I can smoke it again, and I'm gonna enjoy the experience every single time.
Totally
I don't. It's like a really good movie that I can just keep watching on repeat and enjoy it every time.
Christmas
strippers.
strippers.
What did you do, Chris?
Abs for days.
Sorry, Chris.
We all thought it at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Thanks for the setup.
Listen, I wish that at least one of the guys in the stripper movie was Hot Frosty, because at least those were good-looking fellas. Not that I know, I didn't watch it, but those were hot guys. We could have had a better Hot Frosty from the stripper movie than the actual Hot Frosty. He was gross.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was gross. He was like a weird-looking guy.
There are not very many good Christmas movies, like for adults.
Christmas at the Biltmore is tremendous.
I didn't mind it.
You liked it. That was a good one.
Dissenting
Come on.
opinions.
Yeah.
How many guys had their shirts off in it?
No one.
None.
A lady goes back in time and falls in love with a
I
dead
didn't
movie
watch
star.
it. Yeah.
But you know what? You're gonna make fun of me so hard for this, Andy. I know it.
Here we go.
Here we are.
I watched a lot of these, Hallmark movies with Megan this year.
Aw.
The guys are just not attractive. Like they're not like traditionally like good-looking guys. They're not like the women are all these like beautiful like kind of B-list actresses, but they're still like attractive. And the guys are like,
Who are you related
meh.
to?
But I'm just like, why are they like? You're telling me there's not bad actors who are just hot guys you can just throw in these movies to like at least make it more appealing? They're all like average-looking guys.
I think you're alienating all of us at this table.
Yeah,
I was just
really.
going to say. I got to get an
I'm
acting
striving
job.
to be a full-time actor. I'm not. I don't. I haven't had a 6-pack until unless I went to like a liquor
You're
store.
but you're a good looking guy.
No,
you're
dude, I'm
you're
I'm
a
Goomba
good-looking
number
fella.
2 in every movie.
Number 2.
But I don't know if Drake can have surgery to get a 6-pack. I guess so can I.
Hey.
Did he really have surgery to get a 6-pack? What a wiener. Drake is such a wiener. I'm saying it now. I think he's such a wiener.
But no. So your plea is to have more good-looking men in
Like
these
at least,
Christmas
like
movies.
yeah, like
I watched
yeah.
the one with Lindsay Lohan. I mean, my wife did, and
I was in the
the
back.
guy looked like he
meats.
could play Superman. The guy looked like a Clark Kent. So
It's totally realistic.
yeah. Oh yeah. So
Henry
but yeah.
Henry Cavill. That's a handsome fella. Listen, I'm comfortable enough in my manliness to say when a guy is good looking.
Hey, I mean, come on.
More power to you.
Yeah,
Actually, that's like the thing at the office. Looking good today.
Yeah.
Like,
looking really nice.
Thank you. You're boosting my confidence here.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek calls me handsome every day, so I'm like, all right, I'll
A little
take
attention goes a long
it.
way,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Now, Derek, that's a
No.
oof. Mod
Can't really handle a cigar, but man, does he look good.
No. Well, it's because his soft hands,
He gets the shakes from a Zen 6, but
Dude, I remember one time Travis was doing like one of his Zoom like training things, like coffee and a cigar or whatever, and it was the 175th Upman.
Oh God.
This is 3 or 4 years ago, and we're all sitting in La Finca. Now, there's like 8 guys smoking this pretty strong cigar in one room that didn't have great ventilation. A half hour into it, Derek's like, I gotta get out of here. And he's like, he just left. He couldn't handle it anymore. Now he's gotten much better. This is the 3rd episode in a row we've talked about Derek
He'll find
not
out.
being able to
Strays.
handle his strength.
He'll
dude,
find out.
we should get Derek on, but like, I'll get that cigar that was crazy strong, and we'll just reband it with something else.
Get him.
And
Well-
the whole thing will be to watch Derek sweat.
I was messing with him yesterday when we were doing the test blends.
That was tough.
And I told him, like, he grabbed him. I was like, that's an unbanded brimstone. He's like, what? Like, you freaked out. Like, I'm kidding.
Wait
He's
a
like,
minute. This is a great idea for one of our YouTube or TikTok channels is 30-second clips of like, here's Derek, and we can unban him so we don't get in trouble. Here's Derek smoking an insanely strong cigar.
LFD NAS.
Yeah.
the Partagas Black.
Original Partagas Black, El Rico Habano,
Yeah.
Brimstone, just like sweat
Straight
factory.
ass
Just
kickers.
straight ass kickers.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be really funny to see him squirm. Ramona Yones, like
I'd
the
love
AG
that.
Ramona
I'd
Yones.
love that.
I think that'd be real
And then
good.
we just throw, like, after we've punished him this much, we throw in like a Macanudo Maduro, and he's just like freaking out.
tell him, this is the strongest one yet. You don't even know how strong this
I was
one
going to
is.
say
Pale as
lunatic
hell.
one.
And it'll be like,
100.
man, I'm getting used to this. It'll be like, yeah.
And then you give him another strong one after that, and just to fuck with him again.
Just to
Torture.
really fucking
Yeah.
put the nail in the coffin.
We'll give him some like Jim Beam, but it'll actually be barrel proof, whatever
Yeah,
Jim
whatever-
has.
whatever helicopter fuel Jim has.
Just
in
going
his
to
chest.
ruin his life. So sorry, Derek.
This is just apple juice, man. It's just to give you a little bit of apple juice. You need the sugar to like keep going through
Yeah,
it.
you have to drink the whole thing all at once.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's ice cold.
Yes.
It's not warm for
Look at
some
that smooth.
reason. This was a lot of fun.
This is a great time.
This is a great
This
time.
whole-
Guys, I'm having a real
Yes.
nice time.
Filming all these.
But there you have it. The Dunbarton Umbagog Bronzeback, our #1 cigar of the year. Thank you guys not only for being a part of this episode, but for being a part of the panel. Also, thank you to Jim, Brian, Warren, Derek, Chris.
Yep.
I think that's it, right?
James.
Not James. James isn't a part of it. Now I feel like a dick. Thanks, Bobby.
Cut that part out.
Got that part out. Derek? Was Derek part of it?
Derek was
You
part
said
of it. Yeah, Derek
All
was part of it. But guys, make sure to check out this list. You'll see it all over our Instagram. We are going to have some samplers made up. I'm guessing they should be out by the time this episode comes out, or else I'm not doing my job right. So make sure to check them out. Check out the magazine. But this is, I'm telling you, we're going to set a new industry standard. We want to be the most talked about top 25 list out there. Also very interested to see when like the consensus comes out, how
Yes.
many we overlaps. We've gotten pretty.
We do that.
Yeah, we get like we'll get 5 maybe, like 5 or 6 on our list that are on the half wheel consensus, which is like all the lists.
Yeah.
So and our list usually comes. We usually do our list first. So we have our finger on the pulse of the industry. if you
Yeah,
will.
I've noticed that lists obviously come out, I guess, in January more so to give everyone, I guess, here's the top 5 of 2024.
Yeah.
I like how our list kind of comes out towards tail end of December because, I mean, I guess besides CA, but we're not really overlapping anyone else's.
No.
So it's
We're not overlapping anyone that matters.
Yeah. So I guess people are able to focus on our list, and people really do enjoy these lists. That's why we keep doing them. And thank you to everyone who's watching.
Yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for joining us, taking time out of your day.
Yes.
Thank you, fellas.
To everyone
for getting
out
me
there,
out of that meeting.
of course.
No problem.
To everyone out there, I hope you guys all had a happy holidays and a happy new year. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, keep it lit.